Hey Tanner, hey, congratulations on the Legends of Hellgate.
Thanks, man. Very cool.
You know, I was just basically, doing a Instagram story that I was watching your film, and then someone just messaged me that saying, "Oh, is that what happened to Eric Balfour?" And I was like, "Well, it is an older movie, so."
Yeah. He's pretty great at it though. Come on, he's great.
He is great. He is great. I mean, if I posted something about a movie and someone actually asked about Balfour, that's a good sign already
There you
by
go.
itself.
Right.
So for you, Tanner, since you wrote the story, what actually sparked you to write, the Legend of Hell's Gate?
Well, I grew up going to Possum Kingdom Lake as a kid, and that's where the Legend of Hell's Gate obviously spurred from. That's where the structure is and stuff. So when I caught wind of the story and it being kind of a Western story, about these cowboys that were on the run from these Native Americans, I was just like, it's amazing. And then just kind of one story led to another. We recreated Doc Holliday's first recorded gunfight when he was a dentist in Dallas. And then obviously the conspiracy theories of John Wilkes Booth living out his life in Granbury, Texas. So, just once those kind of worlds collided, the story just kind of seemed to write itself.
Because I was gonna say I actually looked up the legend and it had no mention of Doc Holliday or John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah.
That was just added in just to make it a full feature.
Well, if you look at the timeline of the history, all that kind of correlated in 1876, 1877. So that was just kind of a bunch of Texas history that I was able to grab and sneak into the story, just to give it a little bit more of a fun, authentic feel.
Now, how much of the changes of the legend itself, not talking about the John Wilkes story or the Doc Holliday, but the legend of the cowboys who were being chased by Indians, how much of it that was true to the legend, and how much did you actually have to cinematize it?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I created the three characters. And had it was just some bandits. They got these Native Americans drunk off their whiskey that they were trading for them. They took these their mules to Hell's Gate. One of them took off on a tumble down the cliff, and essentially it was I'll go through the gates of hell before I let these Indians get me, and that's the birthplace of the name. So I took some liberties, obviously, to create a story, and then took some true events and intertwine that with the fiction of the story. Just to kind of give it a little bit more of a flair. Luckily, the story had a lot of creative liberties that were able to, I could grab them and kind of run with it.
Did you ever figure out who actually made up those legends, or just local?
It's been around for so long. I would love to know the original author. I'm sure that story's been telephoned a few times.
Now, one of the things that I was actually fascinated with, because that area now where supposedly the legend happened is Possum Kingdom Lake, because of the dam, and basically it flooded that entire valley. So how did you manage to recreate? What was your process of recreating the area? Where did you actually film all this?
Yeah, well, we actually filmed not far from where Hell's Gate actually is, so it was kind of cool to walk in the old footprints of that area and recreate the history very close to it. And then, just with the way we shot, one of the final scenes where you can actually see the cliff structure, it was a little bit of movie magic and stuff there, but it was all based off of like real actual footage. And we just kind of married the shots together. But now that even where we shot for the gunfight and everything else, it was really knocking on history's door of the location. So it was pretty cool. It wasn't hard for the actors to kind of jump right in as shooting on location.
So the Western town itself, was that actually sort of like a Hollywood set? Because it looked like it was like either like a lot of the Western sets that we use here in California and New Mexico.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there was one Enchanted Springs Ranch in Bernie, Texas, which actually Summer Glau is from that area. So it's cool to kind of, for her to get to go and shoot in her hometown, essentially. We shot in Granbury, Texas, to play as Dallas in 1876, and then we shot at La Roca Ranch, just outside of off the I-20. I don't know what it's by, the Highway 4, I guess.
That's fascinating. And for yourself, I actually noticed on your filmography, you tend to be attracted to westerns, aren't you?
Yeah, I love me some westerns. I'm from Snyder, Texas, so it's you grow up in that world, I guess. But my granddad and my dad both love the genre. We watch a lot of westerns and stuff, and just playing cowboys and Indians in the backyard. But now we're doing it motion picture style.
So you grew up with westerns. This being your first feature film, was it difficult to basically produce at the time for yourself and direct?
Yeah, I mean, I guess as a 25-year-old, when I made this movie, I mean, a lot, you'd go back and change now with the experience, but what an amazing way to just kind of jump into this business. Just dived in head first. You know, just been in love with this story for so long. It was just where I was at the time, you know what I mean, with the whole story and stuff. So it seems daunting now, but back then it was just so much fun.
Since the Legend of Hell's Gate, how many more westerns have you done?
Well, I think I've done like 3 more since then. We did a movie called Six Bullets to Hell, which is a totally different kind of western. It's more of a European western, or as we know them as spaghetti westerns. We actually shot on the same sets as Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Once Upon a Time in the West, actually out there in Almeria, Spain, in the desert of Tabernas. But it was, you talking about walking through some cool footsteps. I remember even walking through like the saloon door and a scene that Clint Eastwood, walked through for Fistful of Dollars. And I just remember thinking like, man, it doesn't get much better than this. I truly love the genre. Hope to make some more.
Wow. Well, what are some of your favorite westerns, if you don't mind asking?
Once Upon a Time in the Once Upon a Time in the West is the best. I love Tombstone. Tombstone's probably my favorite movie of all time.
Wow. So let's talk about the cast, because obviously, you worked alongside with Eric and Lou for the two other bandits. Can you talk about how you managed to recruit them for this project?
Yeah, good old fashioned casting. We actually I didn't really audition anybody, but I just went and met with everybody, over a cup of coffee. And Lou Taylor Pucci is an incredible actor, and just really, really, really nailed what was on the page, I thought. And then Eric just has kind of a timeless face, and I thought he just made a whole lot of sense for this character. And he brought a lot to the table, and we had a really, really great time shooting. And then Henry Thomas was incredible, Summer Glau, Jenna Dewan, Kevin Alejandro, Jim Beaver from Deadwood, Buck Taylor from Gunsmoke. I mean, the cast, we were just very, very fortunate. Glenn Morshower, obviously. Pretty incredible, kind of surreal. It's been fun to relive it today.
Everyone on your cast was through casting, really?
Yeah, just about. I believe Mr. Morshower was in Texas, and so that was able to work out. But yeah, we did it the old-fashioned way. We had some great casting directors, and then obviously the producing team we had was incredible, Suzanne Weiner. But yeah, did it the good old-fashioned way.
At which point did you made the decision that you were going to play a role as one of the 3 bandits?
Yeah, well, why build the theme park if you're not going to ride the rides, I guess. But I just kind of always fallen in love with that character. I actually went to Ireland and was able to kind of research the accent and kind of what I wanted to do with it. It was, just a tremendous amount of fun. But, again, I loved the character and was just couldn't not play him. You know what I mean?
How long did it take you to pick up that accent yourself?
I don't know if I ever really picked it up. It's for the audience to decide, I guess. But I had a bus driver, and I just really imitated him, and so I kind of brought that to the table with the character. But it's a very like Southern Cork accent. It's very kind of specific, but I hear it now, and it sounds very whiny.
Oh, you know what? It would have fooled me because I would have thought that you were actually an Irishman.
Well, I'll take that. I'll take that all day.
So tell us, what was the most difficult challenge on basically, directing the Legend of Hell's Gate for you?
Yeah, we had a couple scenes that involved like horses and water and boats, and I just remember that being like very challenging. We actually shot a white buffalo in North Dakota, and we had to shoot that at a certain time in the year to match for Texas in October. So the first thing we actually shot for this movie was the scene with the white buffalo, but that was in North Dakota to play as Texas in October, and we shot that in August, I believe, and then we came back and finished the second half of that shoot. So just keeping the geography together. But we're actually doing a 10-year anniversary director's cut that has a tremendous amount of extended more scenes and more scenery, and it's a wider version of this story. So excited for that to come out too.
Oh, a 10-year director's cut.
Yeah, we're going Zack Snyder on it,
right? Tell us what are some of your extended scenes, as a teaser.
Well, it's a kind of a different way that we're telling the story. Originally, a lot of the story was told in flashbacks. We chose the linear version for the cut that you'll see. So it just really kind of lets it breathe. It's in a different, there's so much that was actually cut out of it. I'm very excited to see a longer duration of the story, and I think it's going to feel more full to the audience. They may feel like they, when you compare the two, you'll understand the story, but I think when you watch the director's cut, you'll see like, wow, that's a lot more than I thought. There's even some stuff with Jesse James that made the film that was pretty cool. So I'm excited for it. We'll see if that comes out hopefully at the end of the year or early 2022.
That's right. The film did make a reference to the James gang.
Yeah, we extend on that. We'll extend on that in the director's cut, which again is all based off of real history. Very cool. So
you must be some kind of Western history buff then. You must love this subject.
Yeah, well, it's kind of where I'm from. So anytime you get to write a love letter back to your hometown in this form, it's quite rewarding. And when you see it out there and you get to relive it every time you watch it, it definitely reminds you where you came from. So that's a pretty special deal.
I do have a question about the John Wilkes Booth, the story of it itself, because I didn't really hear about this story that there's actually someone parading as John Wilkes Booth. Do you believe that story, or you
100%. Actually, due to the research that we found, I actually contacted the History Channel and just asked them, I'm like, has anybody ever heard of this? Because we kind of uncovered some research where John St. Helens was allegedly John Wilkes Booth hiding out in Granbury. And when he was on his deathbed, he claimed to be John Wilkes Booth. But due to facts in the town, there was a woman. She plays the dress shop owner. Her name was Fanny Ray, but she was twice removed from marriage, which is really hard to kind of keep up with, obviously, in that time. But we uncovered her original name was Fanny Ray Booth of the Booth family. And that was John St. Helens' cousin, aka John Wilkes Booth's cousin. So when we kind of found that out, minds were blown. This was kind of a crazy deal. So to have that in a movie and have some people, kind of go in and investigate that, we were just kind of like, wow, this is really, really cool. That's kind of the American conspiracy part, I guess.
You know what? I love that. That's a great tale to tell, because not a lot of people know about that.
I didn't know. I mean, like I said, the History Channel never really followed up on it. And I'm just like, well, I guess that was a long time ago. But it just was fascinating to us, and getting to be hands-on in the town of Granbury. And you can Google this. You can look it up. They still have murals painted of John Wilkes Booth and stuff in there. It's no secret, but just some things hit, some things don't. I don't know. Maybe somebody should go and do some research on that.
Is there any town nearby that Possum Kingdom Lake anymore, or any remnants of anything Western?
Well, at Possum Kingdom Lake, Graham is pretty close to there. You have Mineral Wells that isn't too far away, but I mean, it's an incredible lake, beautiful, beautiful lake. Grew up there, so it's very cool. But yeah, I mean, people go and party it on 4th of July at Hell's Gate every year. So I think even Red Bull did a cliff jumping challenge off of Hell's Gate, which was, pretty cool to see.
That is pretty awesome. Well, Tanner, let me start wrapping things up a little bit with you, because obviously, you and I are speaking virtually right now, but how are you staying creative and sane during this past year?
It's been a hard year, hasn't it? I've been playing a lot of golf. During this time, I was fortunate enough to win a show called Holy Moly on ABC. And I have a film festival in Mammoth, and that the proceeds of winning that show were able to go back to our 501c3, which was pretty incredible. Started a golf line. Check it out, tannerbeardgolf.com. And again, those proceeds go back to the festival, and doing a film coming up in May, finishing up. Well, we already shot half of it, and then the pandemic hit, so we're going back to shoot the second half. So back to work, man. We're back to work.
That is terrific to hear. And I did actually notice that you were a contestant on Holy Moly. And first, I was going to ask, like, how did in the world you actually got on there? Because I thought they just like pull off like regular people out of the blue for these types.
Yeah, well, fortunately for me, I got to play on behalf of our charity. So anytime you're getting to play for a cause that's bigger than better than you, was very fortunate to get to be on the show, and it definitely was a wild time. I don't know if you got a chance to see the show, but it's a hoot, man. It's a lot of fun. It's not your regular mini golf, I'll tell you that. But man, the stars aligned. The stars aligned.
Yeah, I don't know if I would ever have a courage to go on something like that. I mean, I talked to someone who was on a show called Wipeout. And
very similar.
Yeah, and he told me he got in an accident on the set and messed up his knee for the rest of his life. So
it can happen. You kind of sign your life away and hope for the best out there.
Well, that's excellent. Well, you know what? I look forward to checking out some more of your films, and hopefully more of your westerns. So once again,
yeah, appreciate it.
I'll be waiting on that director's cut of Tanner Beard's The Legend of Hell's Gate.
I'm excited for it, but enjoy the re-release of the 10-year. It's very exciting.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next time.
All right, man. Cheers.